Singular, Cal.
Thanks. Higdon and Evans, will they be available?
That's what we expect, yeah.
They've been practicing?
Yes, sir.
Was it a cramp for Chris?
Just a little, like, I don't know the medical term, like
Okay.
tweak, strainish type of thing.
Okay. Talk about True a little bit and what he's done this fall during his time.
Just being himself, really.
Yeah.
He's approached everything with pretty remarkable consistency, fixing mistakes, improving techniques, playing with great effort, physicality, just goes at it every day and steadily gets better and better whenever you really challenge him with something to improve on or an area to grow, and inevitably you see it show up. And if you do that over months or years, the results are going to be pretty good, and everyone's getting to see that now.
Talk about the courage it takes to approach a pass rusher the way he does.
It's a little bit reckless.
Yeah.
There's certainly courage to it, contact courage. He's a tough guy. He's got some wrestling background. He's got a family of boys. Everyone kind of, I think they roughhouse quite a bit. So he's certainly fearless, and that's to his benefit on the field.
As a coach, it's probably satisfying to see someone grow like him, but to do it as a walk-on, and having his background and everything else, what's that been like to see as a coach?
It's awesome. You feel happy for his success and the sacrifices he makes, and all the hard work he puts in. I think it's just whenever you see a guy have his hard work pay off, it's gratifying, because that's what you preach, that's what you tell everybody, and so all the different examples of it on the team, it's great to see, and that it's an inspiration to the guy a year or two younger than him that's going through that same journey, that same process.
What are Christian Turner's strengths as a running back, and do you see him maybe getting some time?
Definitely see him getting some time at some point. He plays really, really fast. He's a guy who isn't the fastest guy ever. He's fast, but he plays at tip-top speed, which is not the most common thing. So you're really getting a guy who plays fast with great feet, really good feel, and he's tough. He's not super big yet, but he plays bigger than his size. Really, really aggressive, hard-nosed kid, and approaches everything with a great attitude.
How much weight do you want to see him put on? You say he's not super big yet.
Not that he's lacking.
Right.
I mean, he plays bigger than his size.
I gotcha.
With his willingness to throw himself in there and make contact. In terms of a projected weight, I don't know. We'll see how he grows.
Okay.
I'm sure he'll end up being 5 or 10 pounds heavier in a year or two.
Actually, with True's pass pro, with all the backs, I guess, you mentioned their willingness to stick their nose in there, of course, but how much of it also is reacting in time or mental discipline on knowing where to go or who to pick up? Because there's been times where he's peeled off and made a block where it's like that's got to be maybe innate, or what's the balance there of what you teach, in terms of being able to be reactionary, I guess, in the field in live situations there?
Yeah, that's a thoughtful question. I would say that there's with every position, there's like half of it is technical and fundamentally, okay, I'm being told how to do this, can I execute this job? And then there's another half or maybe more of it that's like you were saying, reactionary football instincts, being a football player, being able to, at game speed, recognize and get a job done. And that's tough to coach. The best thing you can do for that is to put them in that situation and try to make your drills game-like, really practice at game speed, so that when things happen in practice, like the pickup that Chris had in the game where he took a D lineman and was able to kind of chip a guy, and then Mike Onwenu came back. It's a situation where him playing fast and being able to react might have saved the day for that particular play. So that type of thing is hard to coach. You just hope that you're getting reps that are helpful in practice, and then you're recruiting guys that are football smart and instinctive.
What is the mental approach that Ben Mason brings to games?
Just smash everything. He wants to bludgeon people and do it really fast, and he's relentless.
He's really good at it.
He is good, and he's getting better, and he's another guy. You give him something to improve, and 2 or 3 things to focus on, he'll relentlessly work at it.
How much do you guys appreciate him when you're watching film? I mean, it's fun film to watch, right?
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt. We appreciate that brand of football around here.
Are you guys sharing Van Sumeren like you are with Hassan as well, the linebackers?
We've talked about it. Right now, we're not, but we certainly
back with you?
certainly could in the future.
What did you like about the production you were getting from Karan and Chris? Obviously, Karan didn't play last week, but when those two are available fully.
I love it just because it's two guys who have a ton of experience. You have a guy back there with either of them that you can trust. You know, they've seen a lot of things. A lot of times in games, unusual things will happen. You'll get a defensive look that you're not accustomed to, or we didn't necessarily expect to prepare for. Maybe the team hadn't showed it. Those guys keep their cool. Mentally, they can adapt and adjust pretty quickly. So that's nice. You know that they're going to take care of the ball pretty well. That's certainly something that puts you at ease a little bit. And the great thing is, as True accumulates game reps, you know, you start to build that type of trust in him. And inevitably with that position, you have to play with the second and third guy or the third and fourth guy. So if you have those accumulated reps and that trust, it's really a nice thing as a coaching staff.
With Karan out last game, is that what you think you missed most on offense, that kind of trust, or is there something else that maybe, you know, he does well that you think wasn't there with him being out?
I thought the other guys did a great job filling in. You know, you certainly always are going to miss having him because he's pretty darn good at everything. So, you know, the way that he hits holes and the way that the aggressiveness he runs with is a little bit different. I don't think any of our other guys play at that same speed and violence. But Chris and True and Omari all bring, you know, something special to the table that maybe Karan doesn't have. So either way, you're going to get a nice balance. But you always miss having a guy like him.
Do you like what you saw from Omari, and what have you seen from him in the first several months, or the first few months?
Loved what I saw in the game. He was playing fast. He's a guy who's really come a long way and is learning to play at that full speed. His game speed is actually matching his time speed in in a 40, which is really nice. Now that's a sign of him being comfortable, him being able to be himself and not hesitate, not worry at all. So seeing that is really makes you feel good as a coach, and you know, just looking to see it continue and see his role expand.
How different are the backs saying the offensive line, this offensive line is running behind versus last year?
What do they think?
Yeah, I mean, I know you can't
I'm not
say,
sure. Yeah, you'd probably have to ask them that in terms of how they see it. I don't know.
Are you seeing something different on film though? Or are you seeing the holes are there that maybe weren't there?
I would say that there's because we do a little bit less schematically, we're probably a little more proficient across the board, and so there's some trust there, and they just build a rapport with the O-line in terms of understanding how a look is going to be blocked up and a little bit of what to expect. Hey, okay, I see this defensive look, I would expect the ball to go in this place or that place. So I think there's a level of trust that builds in that regard because we have a little bit more consistency in scheme and the players knowing, okay, it's 2nd and 1, we're going to run the ball, this is the play we're going to run, or it's 4th and 1, this is the play we're going to run. So I think that type of trust comes with that consistency and the amount of scheme that you play.
Guys, anything else for Jay?
There was a lot of conversation this week. Jim talked a lot about the targeting and talked about the running back lowering his head. I mean, what is your view of that?
I would just say that it's very difficult for a player to when he's trying to run the ball or tackle the ball carrier. That's really hard to be aggressive and play a game the way it's meant to be played and keep your head out of it. I think that the spirit of the rule is to make the game safer and to penalize people for endangering other players unnecessarily. And I think that there's situations in the game that need to be addressed in terms of times guys are being hit when they truly don't need to be. And I think it's important. It's hard, but it's important to look at what was the intent of the player. Did he really have an opportunity to avoid that type of collision or not? I feel like that part of it really needs to be considered.
Just want to be clear on Karan and Chris, have they practiced fully so far this week, or?
Yeah, Karan has practiced fully, and Chris has practiced fully for what we've asked him to do. He's been going. It just hasn't, maybe not the same amount, because he did a little bit yesterday, and then we're building up as we go, as he comes off that tweak.
Okay, so you don't think he'll be limited on Saturday?
I wouldn't expect to.
Okay.
We'll see.
That's one hell of an injury report, man. About as good as we ever get.
Thank you.